Did you guys happen to see the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight last night? I did, and beyond all the issues, beyond all the streaming technical difficulties that Netflix had, it broke all the box office records. I truly believe that Jake Paul is a disruptor. He could be compared to Donald Trump, what he did to the political spectrum. What Jake Paul is kind of the equivalent to what he's doing in the boxing world. I like his brashness. I like his conviction. I like his courageousness, his bravery. I love his in-your-faceness. But that fight was absolute garbage. It was 8 rounds of Mike Tyson looking like he had a severe stroke, panic attack, or something like that. I don't know if age was an absolute factor. I mean, it definitely was a factor. I just don't know if that was the only factor that gave us one of the worst performances I've ever seen. I grew up with Mike Tyson as a Gen Xer. I watched those fights in absolute horror and awe when he would knock out people in less than 30 seconds. But that was absolutely pathetic. And I really felt bad for Mike Tyson. A lot of people are saying it's rigged. God knows what. I don't know if it's rigged, but let's get on to something else. That's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to the Tyson Paul fiasco. But let me know in the comments, because I love hearing your thoughts. We have an amazing audience here. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Pennsylvania, Bucks County, they're still counting votes, and Democrats are openly admitting to essentially cheating. They are openly admitting to counting ballots of illegal non-voter ID registrants. And this is insanity. Are we a banana republic? Are we a third world democracy crap hole? Why are we still counting votes when we're almost 2 weeks out from the election? They're trying to steal McCormick's seat and give it back to Casey, the Democrat, and they're doing it right in front of our face. Watch this. The person right above my face right there is Democrat Commissioner Diane Marseglia, and they actually vote, along with Bob Harvey, to count illegal ballots against a Pennsylvania court ruling. This is all an absolute travesty. Listen to what she says here. She has no qualms and admits it openly. Listen to this.
Move that we reject all 3 categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
My fellow Americans, you need to take action right now. If you know anybody who has any authority, any power, the people have power, you have power. You need to write to Bucks County, send them emails, post on X, God knows what, write them a bunch of letters and say, we are not going to stand for this. This is ridiculous. Why are you doing this? She just essentially admitted to committing treason upon the American people, discounting the voice of the people, which was heard loud and clear on November 5th. And we are almost 2 weeks out, and they're still counting votes. Why would they do that? Why would they accept illegal votes from people who are non-citizens? It makes no sense at all. She literally just said, well, obviously a court precedent doesn't matter in this country. To who? To who? It matters to us, the people. It matters to law and order. It matters to everybody who cares about our country. This is absolutely nuts. I beg of you, we need to do something. Share this. One of the best things you can do is tap the thumbs up, which costs you nothing, takes you a nanosecond. Share this with everybody that you know, and write to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, write to the county commissioner, write to the city, the state, the clerk, the county clerk, everybody, the governor. This needs to stop. This is absolute insanity. I beg you, make sure that this video goes viral. I have to show you this clip, and then I'm going to show you some very, very powerful clips from, I think, one of the most competent, intelligent, highly overlooked and underestimated, Scott Jennings. I'm surprised that CNN even puts him on, probably because they need ratings. It's the worst rated show on planet Earth, as it should be, because the American public is sick and tired of propagandist lies. Stephanie Ruhle from MSNBC throws up in her mouth in this clip, based on what one of the panel members said about Matt Gaetz. You have to watch this and then stick around. I'm going to share with you two of the most powerful clips from Scott Jennings, who is the only conservative voice of reason on the entire abysmal propagandist CNN, otherwise known as DNN, Disinformation News Network. But first, watch this.
You're going to see Matt Gaetz. This was a win-win for him. He looks like a hero because he's burning the boats behind it by resigning from Congress. But really what he's going to do is that he's never going to get a vote. They're going to have to discard this race, and he's going to spend the next 2 years running for governor saying that the deep state establishment prevented me from winning, and that's the quintessential MAGA campaign for governor.
Do you think that's what they talked about on the plane? Did it go that deep? Was that?
It doesn't have to.
Was it really that? I mean, wow. That's a multi-layered strategy, Max.
But I do agree. He will probably have to pull out. Excuse me, that's a bad choice of words.
Oh!
Matt Gaetz. He will have to pull out before there's a hearing, I think, because I think this is really not going to be something that goes over well when it comes to a Gaetz hearing.
But to be clear, wait, I just threw up in my mouth, so we have to go to commercial.
Hey, I blew the pooch a little bit, but let me know what you think of that Stephanie Ruhle clip. She said she threw up in her mouth when one of the panel members said that Matt Gaetz should, quote unquote, pull out. I'm going to share with you the Scott Jennings clips, but I forgot about Rob Barron, lifelong Democrat investor. I think this is a really powerful, poignant statement about what he says that's happened to the Democratic Party and why he is elected. This is another lifelong Democrat. The Democrats keep losing and losing prominent figures. It's bad enough they lost RFK Jr. It's bad enough they lost Tulsi Gabbard, I think two icons of the party. But listen to this. I think this is really powerful.
So you've been a longtime Democrat. You've been pretty outspoken about that, but you're also a longtime supporter of Elon Musk's. What do you think of the election results and the government that we're going to be facing?
I think that he had similar views to mine. I don't feel like I'm a Democrat anymore, but he had similar views to mine, and for a long time. But I think that the Democratic Party has been taken over by unions, teachers' unions, UAW. I mean, one of the things that was really interesting is that they had an EV summit at the White House. Everyone's been talking about this a year or two ago. And in that period, they had the leading people for electric cars were invited to the White House to meet with President Biden. And Musk was invited initially and then disinvited. And the person who was praised for leading the way and in the conversion was Mary Barra. I love Mary Barra, but Mary Barra in that quarter did 29 cars, 29 electric cars. We did 300,000. And she was the one who was invited, and she was the one who was praised as the leader in this conversion from gasoline cars to electric cars. So that's because the UAW said, I don't want Elon Musk in the White House. And so it's a lot of these interested parties that say that, no, it doesn't work for me to have someone who's non-union. The reason UAW has been unsuccessful unionizing Tesla's plants is because the people in Tesla's plants are becoming wealthy because they're shareholders in Tesla stock. Same thing for SpaceX. So you can't unionize people if they're doing great where they are. Last year there were 5.8 million people. 5.8 million people applied for jobs at Tesla and SpaceX for 30,000 jobs. 5.8 million people for 30,000 jobs. Tesla might have 150,000 people and SpaceX probably 15,000, but they had 5.8 million. Think of the best people. Think of the best people who do the best, and how do you take people like that and make them into a union where they're just taking something off the top and it's a job that's not that interesting?
When did you decide that you were no longer really a Democrat? Has that been over the last several years? A
lot of policies they have. I'm an independent. A lot of policies that they have I don't agree with.
Just anti-business policies, anti-growth policies? What are the...
Anti-Israel policies.
Anti-Israel policies, yeah.
So I don't really understand where that came from. The inclusion policies. I think that if someone is really talented and work really hard, they should get the benefit from that. And the policies of Democrats, if someone's not doing well, they want to say, okay, we'll lift you up. I'm fine about giving people opportunity. I'm not fine about taking something from someone who's worked really hard to achieve what they have and taking it from them and giving it to someone else.
29 cars versus 300,000. Shame on this administration. Shame on President Biden. Shame on Vice President Harris. Shame on Chuck the Buck Schumer, Pelosi, Obama, all the powers that be. They should be bestowing medals on Elon Musk in the amounts that would make it difficult for him to lift his head. They should be writing songs about this guy. Elon Musk single-handedly saved free speech in the online ecosystem when he purchased Twitter and now turned it into X. By the way, follow me on X. I'm Professor Nez on X. I post probably 100, 200 times a day on there, stuff that I can't post anywhere else because it's literally the last bastion. Hopefully things will change, but it's literally the last bastion of free speech in the online ecosystem. I truly believe with every fiber of my being, if Elon Musk had not purchased Twitter and exposed the censorship, the suppression, the totalitarian ideologies that were behind Jack Dorsey's Twitter and their chief safety and trust and ministry of truth, God knows, Orwellian nightmare dystopian factions and agencies, I truly believe the people's voice would have been suppressed as well. And quite likely it would have changed the outcome of the election. And I think Trump sees that too, which is why he's anointed and nominated him to be the leader of the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. You guys, I can't tell you how much we're going to prosper. I can't tell you how much we're going to win. If you're a new viewer, a longtime viewer, by the way, let me know in the comments if you're a new viewer. Just type in new. I would love. And let me know where you're joining me from, what city, state, country. I love that. I love hearing about that. Whether you're new, old, I've been saying this for a long time, but it bears repeating. It deserves repetition. We're going to see prosperity the likes we've never seen before. If they don't impede, blockade, and do everything they can to cheat, I'm talking about the hippocrats, aka the Democrats, because they're all hypocrites, they're all liars, they're all vermin. We're going to see the greatest prosperity, the golden era, the true roaring 20s, like we've never seen before. You're going to have money in your pocket. You're going to feel safe walking down the street, safe taking your kids to the park. You're going to have economic prosperity across the board. Your assets are going to be worth more. Interest rates are going to cut. They're going to solve the border. They're going to close the border. We're going to turn our $35 trillion plus abysmal government deficit due to Biden, Harris, Obama. 12 of the last 16 years they've had control of the government, spending like it's going out of style. That's going to turn into a surplus within 4 years, if not faster. We're going to see wars end across the world. There's already talks, the Houthis, Hamas, Israel, Zelensky, Putin. There's already talks of peace at a scale we haven't seen in 4 years in this country. Everybody's going to prosper. And I think what Ron Barron just stated about the Democratic Party is emblematic of how all Americans feel. And you don't have to be Democrat or Republican. I'm not right or left. I'm more of a constitutional centrist, if anything. I just believe in common sense. If believing in a secure border, believing in not spending all our taxpayer dollars to fund forever wars, if believing that, we should actually hire the best people, not based on DEI woke ideologies, which are discriminatory by nature, which are downright racist by nature. If believing in refunding the police rather than defunding the police, if believing in law and order, if those make me a right-wing nut job, if not giving puberty blockers and irrevocable transgender surgeries to minors without knowing what the long-term healthcare ramifications are, if that makes me a right-wing nut job, go ahead and call me that. To me, that's just common sense. Okay, for your viewing pleasure, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, just watch Scott Jennings. I think he's one of the stalwarts of the party, and he should be given a high advisory or some kind of a role in Trump's administration. Maybe not, because he's probably more useful by combating these leftist nut jobs. Here's for your viewing pleasure. Watch Scott Jennings absolutely dismantle these radical woke leftists. Check this out.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Well, because...
Well, what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself... Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra...
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job. And I think it's...
Absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it, because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you opposed him in the election. But you, Doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why?
It's because of COVID.
Right.
Because of school closures. Because of mask mandates. Because this country was... But let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low, and the questions are valid.
And RFK is the answer to all of that.
Yeah, but RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation that led to more than a million deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies, the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
Whose policies?
All right, under the Trump administration.
John,
Donald Trump mastered, and he did a great job.
But he's the president.
He won the election. He did a great job of being the mouthpiece of all the things that bothered people without having to deliver solutions. But the problem now, he's in the job, right? He's now the president, or he's going to be the president, and he has no solutions, none. And the only thing he's put forward. I mean, Scott, could you tell me what his solutions? Can you tell me what his economic plan is to lower inflation in less than 10 seconds?
Yeah, extend the tax cuts, fight for American workers, get the immigration system under control, stop spending out of control out of the federal budget, lower inflation, also unleash American energy to drive.
I asked you what he was going to do to lower inflation.
I know that was like 15. That was 15 seconds.
No, inflation. not increase the economy, but lower inflation.
It's all connected.
Intellectually honest answer is don't spend $8 trillion you don't have.
I know, man. I love it. Yeah, I know you got your stump that you love to polish on the. It's over. The campaign was like weeks ago.
Yeah, but being an American's not over. Wrecking the country is not over. Our future.
You're right. You're right. And he won the election. And being an American is not over.
So hold him accountable.
And I would
as a conservative, hold him accountable.
And I would hope that
make sure
you would hope that this presidency is successful.
As a conservative.
You want it to fail. I want it to succeed.
All these picks.
You want it to fail.
All these picks. Absolutely not. I've got more on the line than anybody. I've got 3 kids.
I got 4.
Go ahead, Denver.
So I think
we're even.
I can't wait to get your thoughts on that. Here's my take. I think Scott Jennings, all of his points were absolutely substantive. And if you missed what one of the panelists says, he has solutions. Trump has solutions. You just don't like them. Here's the number one thing that I think comes to mind, and I think is makes the most sense as an American, and just based on what just happened, is the left keeps harping and going bat crazy on all of these picks. You've got Bolton, failed security advisor to Trump. And all these rhinos and all these radical extreme leftists and all these propagandists to MSNBC stations saying, oh my God, this is the worst cabinet picks. This is a clown show. This is that. RFK Jr., none of these people, okay, Vivek, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, none of these people are just out of left field surprises. Trump was very, very clear months in advance of the election. These are the people who are going to enforce the policies that I think are going to take our country forward. He laid out his plan. He laid out his arsenal. He laid out his personnel very loud, clear, and in a concise manner. The American people had the decision. Well, do I want these people to kind of enforce and take the country in this very, very different direction than where we are right now? Or do I want to go with, option Z. They made a choice. They made a choice, a clear-cut, landslide, overwhelming choice on November 5th. So all of you pundits, propagandists, extremists, anti-constitutionalists, all of you woke leftists need to just buck up. And you need to actually adhere to the Constitution, because the Constitution afforded a democracy of the people, for the people, by the people, and the people have spoken resoundingly loud and clear. All your harping, this is the worst thing that ever happened, to me just enforces two things. Number one, you still think you're either an election denier or you want to deny the people their choice. And three is what you accuse the other side of being. You're questioning the integrity of the election. And you're saying he's an illegitimate choice. So which is it? You can't have it both ways. You need to decide now. And another poignant thing that Jennings pointed out is every time you guys talk, he says, it's like you guys want America to fail. It's obvious you want America to fail. By the way, no matter what happens, okay, we've gone through the darkest era of all time and we've survived it. You guys have had control 12 of the last 16 years and we're still here and we are back better than ever. I truly think, I'm going to say something really bold here. I truly believe this is the American Revolution 2.0. I believe what Sylvester Stallone said about Trump. I think he is a mythical figure. I think he is of the same, cut from the same cloth as our framers and founders who are here to kick ass and take questions later. And I'm very, very excited. And it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what any pundit, political, etc., establishment, the ruling class. It doesn't matter what anybody on CNN, MSNBC thinks. The people have spoken. And they spoke with an emphatic iron fist on November 5th. We're sick and tired of your crap, and it's time for something different. I throw this off to you, Nez Nation. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a comment, please. I love hearing your thoughts, and I really, really look forward to reading them. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. I just posted these yesterday. You might have missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe. It's absolutely free, or follow wherever you're watching this. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA.